Hey guys, can you remember for the mid-season premiere of The Flash, Season 2, Episode 10, Potential Energy, and I was definitely looking forward to this episode, mainly because of the fact that it felt like forever since the show was on. I mean, I know it's not that much, it's only been like 4 weeks, but it honestly felt like a long time, and the mid-season finale, I definitely was not a huge fan of, but I definitely really did enjoy it, and I knew this episode would definitely be better, and this was without a doubt, First of all, such a great return for the show, and also I think one of the best episodes of the season, without a doubt. I really love this episode. Definitely this was a back to basics episode as well, because it mainly just focused on what we need to focus on. It didn't try to set up things, because it was the first episode that wasn't about let's set up Legends of Tomorrow, or let's set up this, let's set up that. And now that Legends of Tomorrow is happening, tomorrow on Thursday, we no longer need to set things up, and I like that they're just trying to move forward with the actual plot and show where the season is going, because honestly, I couldn't really tell. I knew that it was going in the Zoom direction, but it just seemed for a while like we didn't really know where anything was going. But let's just get into this episode because I really loved it. Right away, we see Barry. He's giving this monologue about Boy Meets Girl, but it's very complicated right now. He has this nightmare where he, was on a date with Patty, and Zoom speeds away and grabs her, and basically Zoom holds Patty over the edge, says that everything Barry has will be his, and he drops Patty, and obviously he's waking up from the nightmare, and basically Patty doesn't know why, but he's obviously pretty terrified of what's going to happen there. So the next day at the police station, Joe and Iris are showing Wally around, which Wally West, I really am interested in seeing where they go with his character, because you can tell right away that he has a very troubled past. I mean, there definitely is something going on with Wally. We don't really know what it is, but there's definitely something going on there. So Singe comes over, Joe introduces him to his son. When Singe says that Joe is a hell of a detective, Wally says obviously not. And once the captain leaves, Joe suggests that Barry join them for dinner, and Wally says that he has plans, while an incoming prisoner calls over to Wally, asking where his cuffs are. Now, Wally claims he doesn't know who this is, and that, I just, simply have a face that looks like a prisoner, but that's kind of bullshit. Honestly, pretty much everyone does. So, he says that he'll see Joe and Iris at dinner, and definitely there's something going on there. We just don't know what it is yet. So Patty comes over, asks to talk to Iris privately, and once Joe leaves, Patty says that she wants to talk to Iris about Barry. Also, I loved the scene between Joe and Iris where they were showing Wally around, and Joe was telling Wally what everything is, and Iris is like, oh, this is a pen, this is a stapler. I thought that was great. And then even funnier than that was when Patty came by, and when Iris said, you're not needed here to Joe, and Joe's like, well, fine, then I'll find somewhere where I'm needed. I thought that was also really funny. Some really funny moments this episode, let me just say that. So the two women go to Jitters, and Patty asks Iris to help her figure Barry out, and she wonders why Barry's being guarded and having nightmares, and she wonders what's holding him back, and, because she doesn't know what's going on. So Iris says that Barry has a bad habit of carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders, and advises Patty to tell him that he doesn't have to do that with her. So I like that Iris is trying to help out Patty. I definitely like seeing that. So Wells is working in the lab, tosses things on the floor in frustration. Cisco comes out, and another really funny moment was when he's tossing things on the floor, and Cisco's like, we do not toss other people's things on the floor. And then he just, he goes to toss his things on the floor, and Cisco's like, that's better. I thought that was really funny. So he notices Wells' equations, and Wells says that they're wrong answers, and Cisco says that they should work on making Zoom slower by stealing his speed. And I was interested in seeing where we were going to go with Wells, because we know, of course, that Zoom wants Wells to steal Flash's speed, and you don't really know if he's going to do that. That's the direction he's going to go in, and I like that we don't really know if we can trust him right now. We don't really know if he's 100% on Barry's side, or if he is on Zoom's side a little bit. You don't really know right now. However, I'm pretty sure this episode confirmed that he's kind of on his own side. He's not on Zoom's side or Barry's side. He's on his own side, and I definitely like seeing that. So Wells asks him what he means, and Cisco then calls his team together and explains that he's been working on the turtle. Now, Caitlin at first thinks that the turtle's this imaginary thing he's looking for, and when they were looking for Reverse Flash, Cisco stumbled on crimes that were apparently committed using high speed. He plays a surveillance tape from a blank that shows the turtle walking in, and the time code is still running, and Cisco figures he's slowing everything around him. Jay figures that if it can capture the turtle, that they can use his power on Zoom. And talk about a different villain. I mean, if you guys wanted a different metahuman, there you go. I mean, I've never really seen something like that where someone can slow down time. Obviously, go back in time, yeah, but slow down time, that's something that not even the Flash can do. So this definitely made me very interested in seeing this metahuman. So the Turtles stole items of personal value, and the police dismantled them as misplaced items. And Barry brings up a report on the recovery of the Vanderbilt diamonds and speeds off to the police station where Singe is holding a press statement. And at the station, the Flash watches the crowd and spots the Turtle approaching the diamonds. Despite the hero's super speed, he's slowed down as well. And by the time the Turtle leaves, the Turtle has escaped with a diamond ring. And back at Star Labs, Barry tells the others what happened, and basically Wells confirms that the Turtle drains kinetic energy from everything around him, leaving everyone else in a state of potential energy. He walks out, tells Cisco that he's going to figure out how to work it against Zoom, and Cisco irreparably goes after him. So Cisco, Caitlin runs facial recognition software on the video from the press conference, and the Turtle is Russell Glosson, a small-time thief before the particle explosion. And once Barry leaves, Caitlin notices that Jay is distracted. There's just something that he's not telling her, and he says that he was reminded of how he lost his speed, and doesn't believe that Caitlin's assurances they can get his speed back. You know, he's convinced that this might not work, and that he might honestly not make it. So I definitely like seeing that, and Jay in this episode was really great. I definitely love seeing Jay and Caitlin's relationship. I know I was a bit worried they were going too fast with it, but no, I thought here it really was for the better that they were going the way they were with it. So Barry tells Joe about the Turtle and admits that he's nervous about dinner with Wally, his foster son, and he assures Joe that he's the best dad ever and promises to be there. Patty comes over, asks Barry if everything is okay, and tells him that he doesn't need to feel burdened by anything, and Barry explains his mother died around New Year's and the holiday brings back his memories, and he suggests that they go out on a date the next night, and Patty agrees. So the night at the West home, Joe, Iris, and Barry wait for Wally. He doesn't show. Joe goes upstairs. Iris finally says that she met Patty for coffee and told her to talk to Barry, and I love this scene between Barry and Iris. I mean, this is one of the reasons why it's great that Iris just knows that Barry's the Flash already. I mean, we wouldn't get a great scene like this if it'd be for that. So Barry admits that he's been having nightmares about Zoom killing Patty, and Iris warns that he's going to have to tell her the truth. He insists that he can't do that, but Iris says if he's being serious about being with her, then he has to, and that he can't keep things from her. So Barry considers and then agrees to it. So he's gonna tell Patty that he's the Flash. Definitely very interesting that he could do that. And later, Barry goes back to Star Lab. Cisco believes that the Turtle will strike at a museum party, showcasing the return of a famous painting, and Barry remembers the day with Patty and tells the others it's an opportunity. He calls Patty and basically decides he's going to tell her, and he tells her that he really loves art, and that they're going to go to this museum party, and Patty admits that she doesn't like art, but she likes Barry, so she'll meet him there. And after Barry hangs up, he tells the others about his plan, and Wells is listening from the next room. When Barry leaves, Wells tells him not to tell Patty the truth. He warns that if Zoom finds out who Barry cares about, then he'll take them, and that this is it's not a good idea, because Zoom's going to find out that Patty is the thing that is most important to Barry, and just like Zoom took his daughter, you know, he's going to take Patty. So obviously, Wells is pretty concerned about this. So definitely thought that was really great, because one, it confirms that he really does care about Barry, and that I don't really think he's going to listen to what Zoom told him to do, because it's clear that he is looking out for Barry here, definitely, and I like seeing that. So at the museum, Barry, Caitlin, and Jay check the crowd for the Turtle. Cisco and Wells are outside running facial recognition software, and Wells finally says that on Earth 2, Zoom lured the CCPD into a trap to show they couldn't stop him. The villain killed 14 officers, left one alive, and the officer referred to the villain zooming around. And later that night, Zoom killed the officer and finished the job. And Cisco offers to Vibe to confirm if Jesse is alive, and Wells insists that he's sure that his daughter's alive. He knows that she's not dead, and Patty then comes in. Barry remembers his nightmare. He goes over and assures Patty that she looks like a dream. Barry suggests they talk before checking the painting. They dance, and Barry admits that he works hard to hide who he is. He says he trusts Patty, then starts to explain what happened after he was struck by lightning. However, Barry then spots the Turtle in a nearby hallway at the same time that Cisco spots him. He tells Patty that he has to go, runs off, and obviously Patty's really upset about this. She spots the Turtle taking the painting. He uses power, takes her gun, and Obviously, this was a horrible thing. It goes horribly wrong with Patty. I mean, remember, the mission was to use the turtle for Zoom. That was the mission here. But this goes horribly wrong because of Patty, and prepares to shoot her. The Flash speeds in, the turtle uses power, then shoots a chandelier down. A very suspenseful scene. I honestly thought that Patty was gonna die. I'm being honest. She's not a main character. I knew she wasn't, I didn't think she was going to be on the whole season. So I honestly thought, holy shit, Patty's going to die. So the hero runs down, tries to get Patty out of the way. The turtle leaves. The Flash pushes Patty out of the way just in time. The chandelier hits nearby, stunning him, and Caitlin and Jay get him out. And back at Star Labs, Caitlin examines Barry, confirms he's okay. Barry goes off to find Patty, and Wells and Jay go to find the turtle. And Jay offers Caitlin a glass of champagne. They share a toast. Caitlin kisses him briefly before he goes to help the others. And once she's alone, Jay takes Jay's glass with his DNA on it, and Patty's looking at an envelope she received from Midway City when Barry arrives, and she asks what happened at the museum, and Barry admits that he doesn't have a good excuse, and Patty complains about Barry ditching her, and says that she wants them to be closer than that. She doesn't just want them to be just fun. She wants something closer, and he doesn't seem to want that. She doesn't think that, she doesn't feel that he really wants something closer, and she does want that. So she tells Barry that he has to figure out what he wants and do it fast, and she walks away. So Wally's street racing wins a sudden burst of speed. The other driver hands over his keys. Wally realizes that Joe is watching, and he goes over, says that they couldn't make it for dinner, and Joe figures that Wally came to Central City to race, and Wally says that selling the cars he wins is the only way he can pay for Francine's treatments. So I like that we know what's going on here, that he obviously has to do some things that are kind of questionable to pay for his mom's treatments. And when Joe offers to help, Wally says that he's the man of his house and the position has been filled, and he doesn't want Joe's help. They've kind of ran things on their own, and now that Joe's just kind of come into his life, he doesn't really want him, and I understand that. I mean, this is something that they've just done together. Wally doesn't need Joe, and I like seeing that. So Patty's listening to music when there's a knock at her door. She opens it. The turtle bursts in. Now, she thinks it's Barry at first, but it's the turtle. And when Patty shoots them, the turtle stops the bullets, disarms her, says that he's taking the thing most precious to the Flash. And I'm like, how does the turtle know this? I mean, the turtle's not working for Zoom. At first, I thought the turtle was working for Zoom, but I don't really know. I don't know if the turtle's working for Zoom. I don't think he is, but later, Barry returns to Patty's house, discovers that she's gone. He finds the spent bullets on the floor, realizes that the turtle was there, and calls Joe and tells him to meet him at Star Labs. And the turtle takes Patty back to the Nadal library, where he has stolen all of his things. He has all of his stolen things, and says he's going to hurt the Flash by hurting her. And Patty has no idea why the turtle is striking at her to get at the Flash, and insists that he saves everyone. And the turtle says that saving people is a wasted time because they take everything for granted, like his wife, Rosalind, did. Now, I like that we actually found out what was going on with the turtle, because I think one of the biggest things about metahumans in this show in general is that we don't really know their motives. We kind of just know what they can do, but they don't really get to their motives. But here we actually really got into the turtle's motive, and I definitely like seeing that. So we see he couldn't let her go, so he made her his, and the turtle pulls away a drape to show her corpse locked up in a glass cabinet. Very disturbing scene. He then reveals another case, puts a name card in it with Patty's name on it, and at Star Labs, we see that Wells suggests that the turtle's keeping everything he's stolen, and Joe realizes that the villain needs a lot of space to store it, and Cisco remembers that Richard's wife worked at the Nadell Library, and Barry heads out figuring he can power through the turtle's power, and I like that most of this was because of Cisco. That's one of the things I did like about this episode, that Cisco pretty much helped them throughout this entire thing. I mean, he knew pretty much everything to know about the turtle. He knew what the turtle was going to do. He knew why the turtle would do these things, and I definitely like seeing that. I feel like Cisco played a much bigger role than he usually does, and that was something I definitely love seeing. So the Flash arrives at the library. Cisco and Caitlin tell him that they'll have to grab Patty in between the Turtle's pulses. Bracing him, the Flash runs in. The Turtle prepares to inject Patty when the Flash speeds in. The villain uses power, and the speedster grinds to a halt. The Turtle punches him repeatedly, and the Flash speeds out when the power fades out. He runs out, doubles back, and the Turtle uses power again. And he has like this really sharp knife. I mean, very, very close call, definitely. So the speedster slows down, but then moves forward between the pulses, throws the Turtle across the room, knocking him out. The Flash cuts Patty free, and she hugs him in relief. And very, very thrilling scene. And that was a very intense scene, I have to say. Probably one of the most intense scenes this season, honestly. I really loved that. So later, the team locks the Turtle up in the pipeline. Barry tells the others that Patty's okay, walks out. Caitlin approaches Jay, says that she knows that he's sick, and he admits that he didn't expect to get close to her, and that the only way to save him is to get his speed back. And to get his speed back, they'd have to stop Zoom. And he doesn't really know if that's going to be able to happen. And Caitlin hugs Jay, says that they'll stop him. And I like that Caitlin really has a concern for Jay. I definitely love that, and I hope for Jay's sake that he's going to be okay, because I really like seeing Jay part of this team, and of course he needs to get back home as well, so hopefully he doesn't die. I mean, there's a part of me that's thinking maybe he will die, but I don't think they'd really kill off another one of Caitlyn's love interests this quickly. I don't really think they'd do that. So Wally returns to the West home to get his sweater. He says he's heading back to Keystone because things are getting hot for him in Central City. Wally says that he's not going to apologize, and Joe apologized for him for not being there when his son was growing up, and he admits that he was pushing the whole father-son thing and suggests they slow things down. Wally agrees and digs into the leftover food from the dinner he missed, and I like this. I like seeing Joe and Wally not trying to be father and son, but at least trying to be there for each other. And you know that Wally's probably going to stick around because he is actually a main character now. Like, I'm not joking. They've already made a main character. So I'm assuming Wally's going to stick around. And I know eventually he's supposed to get involved with the Flash somehow. We don't really know how, but definitely something's going to happen there. And I kind of feel like he might actually be a little bit jealous maybe of Barry because he does refer to him as White Flash. At one point, I believe is what he called him, White Flash. So we'll have to see what happens with that, but definitely that's going to be very interesting to see where that goes. So I'm intrigued with this Wally storyline. I like the way they're going with it. It's a bit unexpected from what I thought they were going to do, but I like that. I like that it's different than what I thought. So I definitely like seeing that. Also, guys, I forgot to say, probably the funniest moment of this episode was when Cisco brought up the turtle and they asked why he hasn't thought of this sooner. He's like, oh, I don't know, Gorilla Grodd and all this Legend of Tomorrow stuff. I thought, that's not exactly what he said, but when he said, oh, Gorilla Grodd and Captain Cold and things like that, I thought that was really funny because, yeah, that's kind of been what's keeping the plot from moving forward because they've had all these other things to set up. So I like that he said that. I thought that was definitely very funny. So Barry arrives at the station, asks Patty if they can talk. She says it's not a good time, but Barry says that he hasn't been honest with her, and before he can continue, Patty says that she's actually leaving Central City. And she was accepted in the forensic science program in Midway City, but she didn't go so she could catch her father's killer. Now that she has, it's time for her to move on from everything. Most times I'd say this was rushed, but I feel like we got everything we need to get out of the Patty Spivak character. We got her relationship with Barry, we got the reason why she's there, and yeah, that was the big reason she was there, was to catch her father's killer. And now she knew that the Weather Wizard was her father's killer, so since she knew that, there really was no other reason for her to stick around. She knew that the Weather Wizard was her father's killer, and now she's gonna leave. And I don't know if we'll ever see her again. I'm hoping that we see her again. I mean, if we can see, what's her name? Joe, I think. Joe, yeah, Joe. If we can see her again, then I definitely think we can see, Patty at some point. But we'll have to see what happens there overall. It's too bad that Patty had to leave. I really like the actress, but great actress overall. Definitely love seeing her on the show, and it's too bad that she had to go. But I thought it was a good conclusion. I thought it was a good conclusion to your character. And there's other stuff to move on with. I understand that. And plus, I know, of course, there's a whole thing with Iris and Barry are supposed to end up together in the end. I understand that. So there's that as well. So there's just a lot of things that keep these two from being together. Unfortunately, it'd be great for them to be together, but they just can't because there's too much. And It's just they can't stay together. So very sad, but I like seeing closure to your character. Definitely good stuff there. So at Star Labs, we see Wells makes a journal entry promising to come for Jessie. He talks about taking her to the planetarium when she was 4, lost her in the crowds, and as Wells goes to the turtle's cell, takes a brain sample, he remembers what he considered doing to the person who he thought took his daughter, and that was when he realized he would do anything to get Jessie back, and basically, he definitely has his own agenda. Now, what it is, if he's going to work with Zoom, we don't really know. But then we get to the ending of this episode, and I don't know what this means or what's going to happen here. But we see Reverse Flash arrives in the street in Central City, looks around, he brings up his portable Gideon AI, asks where he is, and that's how the episode ends. So, obviously, again, work of Zoom. Zoom obviously sent out Reverse Flash. But my big question is, why is he here? Why is Reverse Flash here? Who's Reverse Flash? Where is he from? Things like that. Because obviously it's not Wells. Wells is not Reverse Flash. So who is Eobard Thawne? Some people have suspected it's Eddie, that we haven't seen Eddie, and definitely that could be a possibility, because you have to think, oh, Eddie's not dead, so it definitely could be Eddie. But I kind of feel like, some people have said maybe it's Barry's father, or maybe it's just someone we haven't seen yet. I'm not really sure, but definitely Reverse Flash. We need to know who that is. That definitely is going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. Who's Reverse Flash? Definitely something we need to know. Wells. Who is he working for? Clearly he has his own agenda. Is he listening to Zoom? Is he going to go with Zoom's plan, or is he going to go with Cisco's plan? I'm not really sure. What's going to get him closer to getting his daughter back? Obviously, I think stopping Zoom will definitely get him closer rather than working with Zoom, because I feel like if he works with Zoom, Zoom's not going to give him what he wants. I mean, Zoom clearly has his own agenda as well, but we don't know too much about Zoom yet, and I like that. And if you guys remember, we didn't really know too much about Reverse Flash at this point. We didn't. We just knew who he was. We didn't really know Eobard Thawne, that we didn't know about these things yet. So, if people are saying, oh, we're moving too slowly with this, we didn't really know too much about Reverse Flash at this point. So I'm perfectly fine with them taking their time with Zoom's character overall. I'm fine with that. Yeah, we saw him in the finale, but still, we don't know too much about him. We don't really know what his plan is. We don't really know as much as we need to. We'll have to see what happens there. Is Jay going to get his speed back? I mean, I want to hope that he's going to, but yeah, there is that possibility that they might not defeat Zoom, and if they don't, is he going to get his speed back? We'll have to see. Are we ever going to see Patty again? I hope we do. I really liked her character overall, but if we don't, I think it was a good way to end stuff for her. It's too bad that Barry didn't get to tell her the truth, but it was just too close of a call. It was too close of a call. He couldn't do it, and unfortunately, their relationship suffered because of it, and it had to end. So, very sad. Wally and Joe, what's going to happen between them? I like that Wally is trying to be, the big man of the house to his mother and things like that, and that he wants to take care of her, but Joe wants to help him, but it doesn't really seem like Wally needs him, so very complicated stuff between them. What's going to happen there? Like I said, it also seems like Wally might be a bit jealous of Barry, so maybe something's going to happen there. We'll have to see. But overall, guys, I really love this episode. Very, very solid premiere overall. Definitely really love this one. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Definitely really, really enjoyed this one. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will be for the season premiere of Agent Carter. And I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.